Hey folks, so I received some packages in the mail from Kitfox and I thought it would be a fun idea to do some unboxing. This isn't meant to be anything serious. This is just a silly unboxing video. I just wanted to bring you along with me receiving these packages from Kitfox and then going through what's in them. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the least interesting, which is this longer box. I know it has my towing kit in it, so the braces for the wings for when you're towing it behind a car. So I use my trusty Harbor Freight drop point knife. I don't actually know what this is. Everything looks to be packaged pretty well. So let's get started looking at what this comes with. So this is the transport kit for the 5 to the Super Sport. It comes with hardware. Everything's individually packaged. So you have to complete an inventory whenever you receive something from Kitfox. That's so that you can tell them if you're missing anything. And then it has some extremely basic instructions. So this is the trailering kit for my Series 7 that I'm building. And I've already purchased one of these before for my Model 4. So these two items here are the wing lockback braces. So everything you get from Kitfox always comes wrapped in a combination of this kind of white foam protective covering, and then it's all secured with cling film. So this is the lockback brace. So this sits at the back of your wing and connects the wing when it's folded back to your fuselage. So it just has two of these, one for each wing, obviously. So these slide out like that, and then you get them to the right length for, so these brace the front, so these brace the front leading edge wing root spar, and these just lock into the holes where the pin goes in, where you connect the front spar to the carry through tube. When you fold the wing back, then that is kind of out 3 feet. And so this goes down, the bottom of one of these goes down onto the lift strut, and the top goes into that pinhole. So you get one of those each, and they both should slide out. We'll hit that with a hammer later. So we've got 51036.901, which are these two of those. 56009101, left and right. They're symmetrical, so they're the same on both sides. Towing pad. So let's take a look at the towing pad. Square tail tow pad. Careful, this is material, so I don't want to rip into it with my trusty Harbor Freight Icon brand drop point pocket knife. And there we go. So this sits over the tail, over the vertical stabilizer. When you fold the wings back, the flaperons hinge up, and then they sit against these pads. I mean, it's kind of a little bit difficult to explain, but there we go. These are the same material, so the same company that builds the Kitfox rain all-weather cover builds this vertical stabilizer pad. So we've got the braces, the pad, and now let's go through this hardware. So the full hardware kit for the towing kit is here. I've looked at every item, I've counted them out, I've cross-checked them with the parts list, and this is the instruction sheet, which is, you know, not Kitfox's finest instruction, but it is certainly usable. Everything is packaged, labeled, organized when it comes from Kitfox. This is very typical of Kitfox's build quality. So there you have it, a full transport kit, inventory is complete, and we have a little packet of these rivets that I messed up when I did my first wing. So box number 1 is complete. Okay, on to box number 2. So this is my upholstery kit. Have installation instructions. Tells you what you receive. The upholstery pieces you receive include a glare shield, cover, the sides and center and around the edges of the seat pan, and then the center console side and top. And then you have these covers that go over the down tubes behind the seat. They're called fuel line covers. So basically you run your fuel lines down these poles and then you put these covers over them so it hides them. Additionally, you also receive seat cushions, side panels, and then floor panels. So these are the carpet installation. And then further instructions. So we'll go through and make sure that we have everything. And so you'll see soon my color scheme. It's gray and black and white. I'm a huge fan of the dark interior. I think it'll match the paint scheme that I'm hoping to go with. My paint scheme is predominantly black and yellow. I love black and yellow. Because my current Kitfox is black and yellow. Could have something to do with that as well. And these are the seats. And all these parts are suede. Seat pan edges. Seat pan center. I think actually those are the seat pan sides. Seat pan center. So let's get those in front. Glare shield wrap, and then the console sides and top. These are those fuel line covers. Before we get into the seat cushions, let's look at the panel sides. So that's, I believe, the right-hand side. So basically you sit in the airplane, you're facing forward, then you've got these panels that go on the left and right that cover off the frame on each side below the doors. So these are left and right. Or maybe the door comes down here, closes off, and then this little pocket here is where you put your arrow documents, so your airworthiness certificate, registration, operating limitations, and weight and balance. You have carpet number 1. So I think we go like this. I think it's like that. Door here, door here. And next up with the unboxing comes the seat cushions. So you have a seat back, a seat cushion, and a seat cushion. So let's pretend that we're facing the seat. This is a pilot seat, this is a passenger seat. This sits down onto the seat pan. You have a space cut out for your control stick on each side. And then you have the seat backs. And I don't know if these are symmetrical, but the seat backs sit in here like this. Now, one of the actual most important aspects of the cockpit is the control panel. So let's move on to unboxing the control panel. I do not think I can lift it out. So I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to cut down the sides and flap this down. What else does it come with? Okay, so this is my instrument panel. We'll lift it up. Wow, everything's wire wrapped very nicely. And then we have the full harness that goes from the front of the aircraft all the way down to the back. Oh man, this thing is a thing of beauty. It's so simple, yet so advanced. So we have, what do we have? All of your circuit breakers, autopilot, accessories, comm, transponder. These holes are for your air vents. This is your, I think this is your ELT self-test. There is space for a second smaller display here, just kind of the same as the, you might even have space for a second, I don't think so actually, but there's the, I think a 10.7 inch or a 10 inch primary Garmin G3X Touch. You have your lights, strobe, landing, wigwag, your nav, your cabin heater, dual lane fuel pumps, emergency backup, EMS backup supply, so start power, off, and EMS backup. And then you have your master switch, your avionics switch, your dual lane controls for your engine. So I'm going with the 916, and so it has two separate, completely independent power lanes, and for redundancy. So you have dual lanes, lane A, lane B indicator, and a start button. So in this space will be the G3X Touch, as I said. Then we'll have the autopilot controller and a navcom. These are trays, and then we have connector kits. Just 1,000,001 leftover connector kits from the wiring. These are the cables for your antennas. So I think we have ADSB, transponder, and COM antenna cables. And there's a comprehensive installation manual. So I think once I have all the parts, the rest of the components like the G3X touch screen and the head units and then the control units for all the different components, they're in the mail now. So I'm gonna get them, I think, on Monday. And then we'll have everything we need to install this. And I think it will take maybe a day or two to get this all wired, laid out. Probably, you know, knowing me, it's gonna take a couple of weekends just to get everything, especially with the wings, get everything run through and configured. But again, super impressed, always very impressed with the quality of the items and components that come from Kitfox. These are cable trays, so they're just aluminum trays that you place in the fuselage and run the cables through, so it stops the cables from hitting like on the bottom of the frame and things like that. So there's that. And that's pretty much it. We've gone through our instrument panel, which is perfect. I know John from Kitfox did call me and he apologized. He said he went through 3 attempts of getting the powder coat on this right, and it looks fantastic. It's pretty much perfect. So thank you, John, for going the extra mile to, I know, you know, he could have shipped me something with a little scratch or a little dent in it, but I know he stripped it down and repainted it like 2 or 3 times. So hugely appreciated. There we go, black panel, black and gray, so black and gray cockpit, black and gray upholstery, and it's gonna look really sick. So super excited, super stoked, and thanks for watching this. I'm really happy to have gotten through that unboxing video. My kitchen was a mess before I started this. I barely had any room to move. My life was cluttered, disorganized, and complicated. I found it difficult to move around. I'm just really happy that we have gotten through that and I can move on to the next steps. Now I can really focus on getting back to the build and working on the plane. What the